A Turkish developer that wanted to steal $40,000, a game studio that tried to silence the critics, and a game that was taken down from Steam. This is the story of I'm Looking for 3024 People, the alternate reality game that never really existed. Before we start, you should know that most of the evidence about this case have been removed, but lucky for us, YouTubers John, Callum Upton and Sid Alpha documented everything that happened, and this video would not be possible without their efforts. So show them some love when you're done. Let me educate some of you about alternate reality games based on my years of experience as a certified nerd. If you don't know what they are, alternate reality games are settings in which groups of players come together to solve a mystery and progress a story. They usually involve elements that are mixed with the real world, like using real-life social platforms to show pieces of the puzzle, or leaving clues at a random location in real world for players to find. Remember that one time Fortnite dropped a huge burger in the middle of the desert? Yeah, something like that, but Fortnite didn't do it first, kids, okay? The most important thing about an alternate reality game is that it's almost always free. After all, the appeal for these games is that anyone can participate and contribute. Folks behind the games are either supported by people willingly through different platforms, or by collaborations with different products to promote movies, video games, or even music albums. At least that's how it was until 2023, when we got an alternate reality game named I'm Looking for 3024 People. Made by a Turkish game studio with the name of Backlash Games, this game tried to break the free-to-join rule. Bit of a big task for someone like Backlash Games that has no history before this game and nothing after it either. They describe themselves as people who make dark games, with a profile image that I could find on a million other websites and probably isn't licensed by them. And I say them very loosely. You will realize throughout the video that Backlash is not really a team, but most likely a single 15-year-old who thinks he is a lot smarter than he actually is. Backlash presented I'm Looking for 3024 People as an alternate reality game that only 3024 people can join. And to do that, they each have to buy an NFT worth 0.03 Ethereum or about $50 on the OpenSea platform. So not only was the game not free, it was also the price of a AAA title nowadays. Now, when I was researching for this video, I couldn't actually find any other alternate reality game that cost players money to participate. So it wasn't shocking at all that the developer was entirely ignored by people on pretty much every social platform, because no one wants to pay $50 to buy the image of a monkey to play an alternate reality game. Realizing this, Backlash decided to shift platforms and take the game where actual gamers would notice it, which was Steam, Epic Games, Microsoft Store, itch.io, Google Play Store, and Apple's App Store. But in order to actually put his ARG on these platforms, he needed to create a real video game. Because these are all video game stores, the developer needs to place a product for people to notice and buy. So Backlash released a video game with the same name, charging $20 at first, which was then reduced to $50, then $10, and according to one of my sources, even $5. That should tell you about the dev's priorities. At the same time as the Steam release, they uploaded a developer log video to YouTube, in which a woman named Melissa explains what the video game and the alternate reality game itself are about, with a like-dislike ratio of 84 to 1000. I can promise you those 84 people forgot that they have liked this video, otherwise they would remove their likes. The story takes place in 1990s, where we follow a computer engineer named Frank who used to work at a technology research and development company called Greby Interactive Corp. Frank realizes his employers are up to some shady businesses, including human experiments. He leaves the company and tries to expose them, but gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Before his time comes, he records a message to tell people of the world that he has discovered 3024 open ports on the company servers. and he needs 3,024 people to infiltrate the company to finish what he had started. A fictional character named Anonym52 then discovered Frank's message at a more recent time, and tried to recruit the players to complete Frank's mission by uploading Frank's video to YouTube. Basically, the concept of the game is that 3,024 people have to give Frank $15 to beat an evil corporation. That's really all there is to it. It's a classic case of there is a big bad company with a lot of money and regular people have to take it down. Wow, I've never heard that one before. Melissa explains that the game was brought to video game markets so that more than 3,024 people can join. She claims that this was done to allow people to choose a side and either support Frank or the Grabby Interactive Corp. She doesn't really elaborate on this. I'm guessing she means they also wanted to give people room to sabotage the ARG, which, why would anyone want to do that unless they are trolling? My expert analysis is that this is absolute trash. They did this because no one cared about their game when it was locked behind an NFT paywall. And while the dev was at it, he just thought, why limit my game to only 3,024 sales when I can make more money? When it comes to the protagonist, we don't really know much about Frank, and that's why Melissa also claims a comic book is being made to tell the players what Frank had to go through. To this day, only one image of this comic is available that has already been showed in the developer log video. And even then, it's in real low quality. Like, the quality is so bad that you can't even read it. On a side note, Melissa right here really likes to say the company.
Company. This company, the company. Company. This company. Company. Company, the company. The company from the company. Company.
I'm not even kidding, take a shot every time she says the company. So the question is, how are we as the players who are playing this ARG supposed to help Anonym52 finish what Frank had started? When you start the game on Steam, you are immediately told to close it and check out a website called Frank's Computer before coming back. The website is not available anymore, but YouTuber John has already documented it. This website, just like the name says, is supposed to be Frank's computer, where we get to see what he was up to before getting cancer. You could access this whole thing without buying the game, by the way. You don't need the game to check Frank's computer. There isn't really a whole lot on this website. We can see Frank's message here, the same one that was uploaded to YouTube. And it's just a guy in a hoodie sitting in a dark room with an AI voiceover with a ton of grammatical errors.
I'll tell you my whole story later. In this video, I will talk about the main subject. I am a computer engineer. After graduating from my department with a first degree in 1974, I started working at a company that produces advanced technology.
I think the script given to this AI wasn't even spell checked because it pronounces video video.
Someone found these videos I recorded
And calls digits digits.
in the files I found. I was also able to find the first 3 digits of these slot pads.
And also reads wasted as wasted.
I need to hand over this task so that all my years of effort is not wasted.
It was truly a moment in history when Frank said, I am pancreatic cancer.
I am pancreatic cancer.
Were they actually trying with this? Was it supposed to be scary? If you remove the AI voice, this whole thing is just a dude sitting in silence staring at the camera. Like, can you imagine if my videos were like this?
Hi, my name is VD. In this video, I will tell you about feet and why you should like it. Even though I really like feet, what I like even more is licking armpits.
Aside from Frank's message, we can also find a bunch of live CCTV feeds on his computer, with a very sus small black bar on the corner. That kinda looks like it's hiding something. Well, if you right click and open these feeds on a new tab, you can see that these are just public cameras in Turkey, hosted by a Turkish website. Maybe at some point some guy was supposed to go in front of the cameras and do something for the players to see. Or maybe, just maybe, they didn't even mean anything and were just added to make the alternate reality game seem deeper. But they wouldn't do that. They're not gonna steal a CCTV broadcast for no reason. It's not like they have ever stolen anything before, totally not their brand image. That's all Frank's computer had in it, by the way. I'm not sure what this dude even did before he got game-ended by his pancreas. But now that I have checked the website, I can go back to playing the game. And oh boy, I wish I never had to.
Adam, do you hear me?
What? What's this?
Damn, I finally got to you.
Who are you? Are you here?
I'm not there, but I can see you. Stop walking and start running right away.
There is nothing wrong with your screen. This is the game. You're playing as one of the company's human test subjects who has been blindfolded. You're stuck in a maze and have to find your way out while an AI voice gives you directions. Wow, where do I even start with this? Again with the AI voices? Why do they keep trying? Dude, they sound terrible, and it's not even just that. You can't even hear what they're saying most of the time.
Lady Melissa says that they used AI voices because they could get realistic results.
I'm sorry, what? Lady Melissa says that they used AI voices because they could get realistic results. I genuinely had to rewatch this multiple times because I thought I misunderstood her. So you use AI voices over a real person's voice because an AI voice sounds more realistic than a real person's voice? How about just saying you didn't want to pay voice actors? But this isn't even the worst part. I was expecting the AI voices after hearing what Frank had to say. But what about the blind experiment? This is totally not an excuse to not make any visuals for your game, right? Melissa tries to explain why they made you blind and just listen for yourself.
We are controlling a character who cannot see in the game. You can't see anything. You just have to act on what you hear. This led to a situation like this, even if you see how to pass the section from someone else. It's still difficult to pass it on your own, because
I have no idea what she's even talking about. I think she's saying that they made the player blind so that if someone gets to finish the game, they can't tell other players how to do so. You know, it's almost as if this game doesn't have RNG and people can just write down each direction they went and give it to someone else. I still can't digest that this game was originally gonna cost as much as a AAA title, and somehow is even worse than a AAA title. I didn't think you could go lower than that. By finishing the game, you get an image that shows 3024 unique codes. You don't actually need to finish the game to get this image though, because the developer has left the game files open, and you can just browse them and find the image. You're gonna need at least one of these codes to progress to the next level of the alternate reality game, which takes place in the land of degeneracy, Discord. The Discord server of this game used to be where the actual alternate reality part began. I actually sent a message asking if anyone who was a part of this can share some information with me. I was lucky enough to get a reply, and the user named Detective Caster answered some of my questions. Thank you, Caster. I think your cat is really cute. Even though the server is a wasteland right now, it used to get a lot of activity back then, because there were 2 challenges in the server that the players had to get through together. And to participate, you had to buy that thing they call a game, then link your account to the Discord server to get a role. On a side note, you could actually refund the game right after and you would still keep the role. The first one needed 3024 people to coordinate and send 3024 unique codes from the image on Wednesday in a 10-minute time window from 8 to 8:10 p.m. And if they failed, they had to wait another week until the next Wednesday on 8 p.m. to try again. This is when everything began to fall apart because this challenge was impossible to do. Gathering 30 people to chat simultaneously on a Discord server is just absurd, let alone 3024 of them. And even if you manage to actually get all of them to come online exactly at a Wednesday 8 p.m, in order for 3024 codes to be sent, users need to send 5 messages each second for 10 minutes straight without even wasting a single second. This is already ridiculous, but even if players were able to do that, Discord limitations wouldn't allow them to send so many messages. The codes would not go through and the server would slow down. Not that it's ever been tested, because 3024 people didn't actually purchase the game. But if this challenge is impossible, why did the developer even design it? Well, just like everything else we do in our lives, he did it for money. 3024 players means selling 3024 copies of the game, each for $15. So the developer would get $45,360 before even the first step of the game is done. And he won't have to even progress the game, because people wouldn't be able to get past this stage anyway. There is also a second challenge that is more reasonable. A bot named Anonym52 used to stream a video of a monitor that had 35 lines, each labeled with a letter containing a highlighted area and a square on the bottom. Players had to type the corresponding letter to move the squares into the highlighted zones. And after some time of not typing in the letter, the squares would fall back down. This challenge seemed a bit more doable, because it didn't need 3024 players to pass. That's why a Brazilian streamer named Selbit asked his viewers to purchase the game and help him solve this challenge, when he realized that Discord's limitations don't let all of the messages his viewers are sending to go through, and the blocks keep falling down. After trying for hours, he gave up and claimed that this challenge, just like the first one, is impossible. The developer responded, claiming that it isn't impossible, and their team actually managed to pull it off. Which I highly doubt, because I don't think there was a whole team behind this entire ARG. The community wanted to spread awareness about the game, and soon, the YouTuber John made a video named "Give Me $40,000 the game," which exposed the ARG for what it truly was. John's video made its way all the way to the top of the search results on Google. It was pretty much the first thing people saw when they looked up the game. And that didn't sit well with the developer. It didn't take long for Backlash to use the DMCA takedown feature of YouTube and remove John's video. Then they proceeded to send him an email telling him that they did not want to remove the video and didn't take his criticisms personally. Because contrary to what he might think, his video actually drove up their sales. I'm not sure how things are in Turkey, but where I live, if someone tells me to not buy something to stop me from getting scammed, I don't buy it to get scammed. It's important to note that Backlash did not have the right to take down John's video, as it fell under the fair use law. So they basically abused the DMCA takedown system of YouTube, then went on to brag about it to the uploader. Good thing is John actually managed to counter their claim and bring back the video. He then released a second video named "This developer is trying to sue me for reviewing his game," in which he spread awareness about how his video was taken down by Backlash unjustly. Two other YouTubers named Callum Upton and Sid Alpha made their own videos also exposing Backlash and supporting John. People were slowly realizing that this whole ARG could just be a cash grab. And that's when the Steam forums started to get flooded by players trying to warn others. And surprise surprise, most of them got banned by Backlash and their threads were removed. But after all this time, we can still see what some of them had to say. One user nicknamed Cayman Gamer Retro made a post raising awareness about the developers abusing the DMCA system of YouTube. The dev simply responded by claiming that they are only removing posts that spread false info about the game, because some influencers degrade the game due to their misinformation. So basically, anyone who says the game is bad doesn't know the whole story and is lying. And they just have to stop them from speaking, that's just how it is. The dev also claims that if this was an NFT or a scam game, Steam, Epic Store and Microsoft Store wouldn't have released it anyway. Which is blatantly false. Steam, for one, doesn't really care what you put out there as long as they get their cut. And I don't imagine the situation is that different on other platforms either. And just like the email they sent to John, they also claimed that they did not want the video to be removed because it aroused people's curiosity and pushed them towards the game. But since Backlash Game Studios and I'm Looking for 3024 People are licensed brands, they should not be subject to defamation. So, not for anyone making anything. If you license your product, no one is allowed to criticize or question it. And you can sue them for defamation if they do so. They also mentioned that not a single person in their community thinks they have been tricked or deceived. Which, they're just chugging down a tanker of copium with this one. Another point they make is that the first version of the game was free, and you only needed an NFT to participate in the Discord level of the ARG. I'm not sure if this is supposed to give them any more validity. What value would your game have even if it was free? I don't see people waiting in line to play a black screen with AI voiceovers even if it was free. Another Steam user nicknamed Ocular Malice called out the developers to explain themselves regarding Sid Alpha's video on their DMCA abuse. And I promise I'm not making this up. This is what the dev had to say. With our explanations, we showed that the information they mentioned in their video, referring to Sid Alpha's video, was not true. The explanation they are talking about here is their response to Cayman Gamer Retro. They continue by saying that the creators then started attacking us from a different topic, because it's their job to find content. It doesn't matter to them that it's right. The fastest spreading content is fear and hatred. They also use it. You may not be aware of it, but they take credit for themselves by misleading you about these contents. We have to block all offensive threads, so don't take it personally. So basically, if it says anything bad about me, it's offensive and I'm in the right for removing it. The dev then has the audacity to say, "We will continue to be here because we deserve it. Someone else's misdirection won't change that. The world is not such a place." Well, sadly for you, the world is also not such a place that someone can get paid $40,000 for a black screen. Backlash really thought they had the upper hand here, so they offered the YouTubers a deal. In the second email they sent to John, they offered to make the videos the 3 YouTubers made on them a part of the ARG, making it seem like these YouTubers are working for the Grabby Interactive Corp and are trying to stop the players from completing Frank's mission. 10 trillion IQ strategy right here. This should be part of Sun Tzu's Art of War. Naturally, John, Callum Upton and Sid Alpha refused their offer, but the developer went ahead and did it anyway. They opened a new thread on Steam discussions titled "Do Not Believe the Scam Campaign of Grabby Interactive Corp", which opens up with the line, "Grabby Interactive Corp is doing its best to stop this movement. They're attacking us. They're afraid we'll expose themselves." In the post, they're basically trying to make the videos a part of the ARG and play them off as scam videos made by the evil big corporation in order to stop the players from taking them down. They also locked the threads so no one can post any replies to it, for no reason in particular of course, because as they have said before, no one in their community thinks they have been tricked or deceived. They also registered another domain for the Grabby Interactive Corp, which is now shut down. And they basically copy-pasted the Steam thread over there, trying to make the situation seem more authentic for the ARG. But sadly for them, it was too little too late, as people have already confirmed I'm Looking 3024 People to be a scam. Despite how much Backlash tried to pull itself together, none of their strategies went anywhere. All they were left with was a half-baked scam that didn't reach the scale they wanted, and tens of people who got past the refund timer and wanted their money back. So our not so friendly Turkish developer decided to roll down the shutter and bail. He stopped responding to the players and didn't post any more news about upcoming updates. Slowly over time, any trace that was left of his ARG started to fade away as well. The Discord server became a wasteland, the Discord bots stopped working, Frank's computer became inaccessible, the Gribby Interactive Corp website was shut down, and I'm looking for 3024 people was removed from game markets. If it wasn't for the previous videos made on this game, I don't think I could have even gathered most of the information I used. You know, people say that the actual concept of the ARG itself was just not interesting from the start, but I personally think that this guy could have actually made something out of his game if he really cared. He knew what an alternate reality game was, had some developer experience, even though all he made was a black screen. He did have an idea, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, an idea. He didn't have to turn his idea into a scam. He could have just turned it into a legit ARG and most likely made some actual money from it. But instead, his ego made him think he's smart enough to make bank without putting in the effort. And my standards for effort is across the floor, like, I'm talking about at least hiring an actual voice actor instead of this garbage free text-to-speech. But ultimately, the dev went the cheaper route and his choices forced Backlash Games, with its not very original logo, to shut down before it even started. I want to once again thank John, Callum Upton and Sid Alpha for documenting a huge amount of information used in this video. And I want to thank you for watching till the end. If you got some free time, you can join my Discord server. Oh, and please take a look at my Patreon if you are kind enough to buy this old man a drink.